Okay, hello and good morning. Today I will be presenting the QC part 2, which is external quality assurance. If you remember, last time I have mentioned about the EQA, but I didn't explain it furthermore. So in this session, I will explain more on the EQA part. Okay. So, as definition, EQA is a system for objectively checking the laboratory's performance using an external agency or facility. Therefore, EQA can specifically for checking the quality of tests or to check the overall quality of a laboratory. And other name for EQA or uh, the long name is external quality assurance. Other name are external quality assessment and proficiency testing. There are few methods of EQA, which is types of EQA. First is proficiency testing, rechecking or retesting, inter-laboratory comparison, and on-site audit. Okay, we go one by one. For proficiency testing, it is a method where external provider will send unknown samples for testing to a set of participant laboratories. The results from all laboratories are analyzed, compared, and reported to the laboratory. So in terms of for test quality, the term of EQA and professional testing are used interchangeably. So I hope that you can remember this note. So what happened it is there is proficiency testing organizer or provider that will provide the PT sample and send regularly to the laboratory. So what happened? The lab will analyze and then will return the result. So the result will be accepted by the PT provider, yeah, and then they will evaluate the results that they receive from many laboratories, and they will evaluate it, and they will come up with the performance report, and then this report will send back to the participant laboratories, and then lab will receive the proficiency testing report, and then they will analyze whether if there is anything wrong or the results are okay. If there is something wrong with the result, they need to do the corrective action. Okay. So other method is rechecking or retesting. The samples, usually slides that have been analyzed with available results, are collected from the participating laboratory and sent to reference laboratory for rechecking. So this will allow for inter-laboratory comparison between participant lab and reference lab, meaning that the sample that have been analyzed by the laboratory peripheral or participating laboratory, so they will select one or two sample that have been analyzed, and they will send to the reference laboratory. From there, the reference laboratory will do the rechecking, and then they will compare the result whether it is same or different. So if there is any difference, meaning that the peripheral have to do troubleshooting where is and where is wrong. Okay. Another method is inter-laboratory comparison. It is where a laboratory set an exchange of sample among a set of laboratories, and minimum it is two laboratories, yeah, between one lab and its partner, another lab. And it is usually applied on specialized tests with have no proficiency testing scheme, and very few of laboratories that perform the test. Example here is in HUKM, they have the mycology test, which is most of the mycology tests are very rarely done in, I think, in Malaysia or in Kuala Lumpur region. So what happened, there's one lab also doing the mycology test, which is MR. So what happened, they set the inter-lab comparison between the HUKM lab and the IMR lab. So maybe first 1 or 2 months, the HUKM will send the sample to the IMR and they compare the results. And then maybe the next other months, the IMR will send the sample to HUKM and then compare their results. And another method, it is on-site evaluation, usually done when it is difficult to conduct traditional proficiency testing or use other method of EQA. Maybe because the test, it is for tests that done in one lab only in the region and no proficiency testing provided. And it is also referred to as audit, assessment or supervisory visit. Supervisory visit. Usually the lab will go for certification or accreditation. So the audit will be conducted by external group or organizer to verify that the test is done in proper way. So this graph show the overall flow of the audit. First, there is pre-evaluation or preparation by the lab and also by the by the auditor. And then there is entrance interview by the auditor to the auditee, to the lab. And then the auditor information gathering, the auditor will observe of facilities, process and procedure in the lab, done in the lab. And then outcome assessment. So the auditor will do the assessment on the lab. And then after the assessment, the auditor will analyze and come up with the results and then they will present in the exit conference, and then they will do the reporting of what the finding, and also the lab that had been audited have to do the report on what troubleshooting or corrective action that have been done. Okay. So what is the benefit and purpose of the EQA? Why we need to do the EQA? First, it is to allow comparison of performance of testing among different laboratories. And we must remember that to do the IQC only is not enough. So we need to do the EQA so that we can compare ourselves to other participants where we are in the correct track or we just nowhere else. Yeah. And then second, provide objective evidence of testing laboratory, in where EQA helps to assure lab and customer, such as physician, patient and health authorities, that the laboratory can produce reliable results. And then provides early warning for tests with systematic problems or tests that need improvement. Individual laboratories can use EQA to identify problems in laboratory practice, allowing for appropriate corrective action. And then fourth, indicate areas that need improvement. So when performing the EQA, it will include the whole process that include in the test. Any error in the test step or operation will expose in the EQA report. Therefore, it can be used to detect any area of the test step that affect the reliability of the test and result. And this also identifies training needed. Samples received for EQA testing as well as the information shared by the EQA provider are useful for conducting continuing education activities, and any area or test that had been troubleshooted and execute the improvement can be discussed among staff and becoming sharing knowledge session. And it is also required in licensing, such as accreditation in ISO 15189. So some region or countries require that diagnostic laboratories must have an accreditation certificate to enable it to operate. So most of the accreditation scheme specify that EQA participation is essential. So I will discuss furthermore on proficiency testing, where the method I have been discussed earlier. Yeah, and please take note that from this slide, when I mention EQA, it means proficiency testing, or PT. So it is the most common method used by the laboratories, and it cover large of area. Most of the laboratories diagnostic, such as chemistry, hematology, microbiology, and etc. They do have the EQA or PT testing. Yeah, and to perform this, first we need the management responsibilities. So first, determine policies for EQA, by who, what, yeah, when, and how. Meaning that the management should determine the policy for EQA, and then they should determine the person who are responsible to manage the EQA activity. Usually, scientific officers are responsible for carrying out the task, and the management also need to determine or approve what EQA scheme that they want to participate, because there are many EQA testing, yeah, outside there. There are many schemes that are offered, such as RCPA, EQUAS, NICAS, RICAS, and many more. And the management have to decide based on the based on the which one is worth with its cost, yeah, which one is available with the cost. So they should decide when they should aware with the schedule and how to execute the EQA. So they have to develop the SOP, standard operating procedure. So the management also need to review, take part in when do the review EQA result. They need to support the corrective action, and they should participate when discuss the troubleshooting. And then the management have to make sure that the records are monitored and maintained. Example of the records that included in the EQA activities, such as EQA record, yeah, corrective action record, the SOP, and EQA participant certification. And the management also need to ensure the all the communicates outcome, meaning that the management must make sure that all the outcome from the EQA activity are communicated to other staff as well. And what is the responsibility of the person in charge, yeah, PIC? First, the person in charge have to make sure that the lab participate in the EQA program, meaning that he have to do the register in the EQA program. Make sure that the samples are analyzed. Yeah, this is the analyzed according to the schedule. Distribute the EQA sample among staff or section. Maybe that person can do the rotation schedule if necessary. And lastly, not lastly, troubleshoot and take corrective action on the non-performing EQA result, and communicate the outcome to the management. The person in charge need also to present the EQA performance at specified intervals, maybe every week, every month, or maybe how many few times in 1 year. Monitor and maintain the related records, such as EQA record, corrective action record, SOP, copy of EQA participate certification. So, what are the criteria of EQA, or what is the criteria for the good EQA or PT scheme? Yeah. So, the good EQA or PT scheme should have at least this criteria. Yeah. First, it has internationally accreditation, meaning that the EQA scheme is accredited by international, by national or international accreditation bodies worldwide, has many participating laboratories. This will create a large database user and increase confidence in statistic value, such as actually we need minimum 20 participants. So a high level of participation means peer group numbers are maximized and ensuring availability of data for a wide range of instrument and method. Numerous and varied sample, meaning that the EQA scheme able to provide numerous of tests and samples. So this will reduce the burden of purchasing the EQA material from various EQA scheme, meaning that let's say if you have a renal profile test, what else, liver function test, so you need one sample from one EQA scheme that could provide you with the whole test, so that you doesn't have to buy the renal profile test from this company, from company A, and then the liver function test from company B. So lots of work there. Yeah? Just buy from one EQA scheme, then you got all the tests that you need to test. And it has several distribution throughout the year, meaning that the more frequency of EQA testing will provide higher frequency in monitoring the quality of tests. Rapid report turnaround, meaning that the faster the EQA scheme could give back the report, the faster the laboratory could review its performance and do the troubleshooting on non-performing tests. So this will maintain the accuracy of the test. So meaning that if the EQA provider give you the report but in late turnaround time, meaning that you cannot do the troubleshooting in appropriate time. Yeah, preferably electronic result entry and report return, because by using the electronic, you doesn't need there will be no cost for paper and postage, or you doesn't need to fax the result. I have been experiencing the faxing the result, and tell you the truth, it is very difficult to fax. Sometimes you succeed, and then sometimes you don't succeed, and when you don't succeed you feel very frustrated. Okay, and then the EQA scheme should be friendly and helpful, meaning that the EQA scheme willing to give help to understand the report and advise. Sometimes they can advise in troubleshooting. So the report also should be user friendly, that is easy to access the report and easy to understand. And high quality sample, meaning that sample spanning clinically relevant levels and helping to ensure accurate instrument performance. EQA also should mimic the patient specimen. And additional, the reference method values are provided for selected parameter whenever possible. So this is the overall, this graph show the overall of the EQA material. Yeah, this is the wide range of EQA material. The look just same like IQC, but the handling, this is the overall handling. Well, where to start? Okay, starting from here, the EQA provider will send the sample to the lab participant. Yeah, so EQA samples received, and then lab will analyze EQA sample. After analyzing the result, sent to EQA organizer, and then the organizer will receive the EQA result and then come up with the EQA report. So the EQA report received by the lab participant, and then the lab participant need to review the report and then take any corrective action if there is anything problem with the test performance. And the cycle will go on and go on as long as you participate with the EQA. So this is one of the example of EQA result. If you can see here, this is for the testosterone result with the unit provided. So make sure if you send the result, make sure the units is correct, then you will get a wrong report, okay? Wrong performance of your EQA. So what happened here, your result will be compared to the whole participant. This is the whole participant, yeah. Maybe your result is somewhere in here, yeah. And then so what happened, it will compare you with the whole participant here. This is the level 1 and then level 2, and then it will compare you with the whole participant, and then with the same method, meaning the same company that supply the reagent, same machine, same calibrator, okay, and then with the same test principle of participant, some same analyzer participant, and same supplier of reagent participant. So this give information on whether your result is acceptable compared with all results and your method classification. So let's say this is the acceptable range. This is the whole participant, and the white area is the acceptable range. Yeah, the gray is non-acceptable. So if your result fall into this area, meaning that your performance is good. So you doesn't have to do any corrective action. So and then it also stated in here, yeah, this is your method. This is the target with the same method of yours, and then this is your result. Yeah, this is your result. So it indicate here you have the one level is on the low side. Yeah, so it is on the low side. It is also stated in this level Jennings graph. Yeah, so meaning that you have to troubleshoot on this level. I'm not sure. I think this is the first level one. Yeah, it is stated low side. Okay, sorry. And this is another example of the EQA report. Okay, this show that the user need to troubleshoot or investigate the uric acid test. Okay, so this is the uric acid test. This is the result. Yeah, and it compare you with this is all the results value. This is the mean, standard deviation. This is your group result. This is the mean and the standard deviation here, the acceptable range, and your method. So this is this is your method group, the same method. This is your group, and then this is your method. Which one is your result? I think this is, it's stated here, this is your result, yeah. 2.09, okay, sorry, this is your result. So if you compare with your group, it's stated here that you are out. It is your ST is plus 2.46. So meaning that you have to troubleshoot your sample. If you compare here, this is this is also the level Jennings. This is the performance of the test previously, yeah, and then this is the mean, and then 1 ST, and then you cannot see. This is 2SD, okay? This is 1SD, and then this is 2SD. So whenever your result is outside from the 2SD, you need to troubleshoot. And if you notice here, this lab got few times that the result is outside from 2SD. So meaning that he have to check back what happened to the test. Is it because of the lab error, or something to do with the method itself? Yeah. So how to troubleshoot the EQA? So if you um, see in here the diagram, EQA sample, when you need to handle the EQA sample, it include the pre-testing, testing, and post-testing phase. So, and then this is the possible error of the uh, during possible error when you handling the EQA material, such as on pre-testing phase, maybe specimen compromised during preparation, transport, or after received by improper storage, or handling, mislabeling, or wrong data entry. So you need to troubleshoot. Maybe it is come from the pre-testing area. So for testing area, maybe because of the reagent, so test method, calibrator, temperature, and operator. So you need to check back what is the performance of your IQC during that time. And then post testing, it is maybe you wrongly key in the result, yeah, wrong reporting, usually that include the apa test result, or report format interpretation, wrong report format interpretation. Okay. And when you do the troubleshooting and do the corrective action, you need to record the troubleshooting. So this is for you to uh, to recheck back if you have the same problem, and you need this record when you need to present back to the management. So this is the example of the uh, corrective action form, and you can design to your need. Actually, you doesn't need to follow this format. Okay. And this is the table which show the difference between the IQC and EQA. So IQC, it is the known value, and usually it for EQA it is unknown value. IQC, it is a daily and long-term monitoring, because you need to run daily, okay, every day, as long as you run the patient specimen. And EQA, it is interval monitoring. You does not run the EQA every day, maybe every 2 weeks, every month, or few times in a year. And for IQC, it is a prospective monitoring, meaning that when you run the IQC, when you detect any error, you capture it straight away and you do the troubleshooting on that same day. Whereas EQA, it is retrospective monitoring, meaning that you have to run the sample today, and then after 2 weeks later on, when you receive your result, then you know that your performance is something problem. Then after that, you got to troubleshooting it. So it is retrospective monitoring. So with that, I end my session for the QC part 2. With that, I thank you.